It is November 1st, 2023, so it's time for another monthly update video in which I'll tell you about all the cool stuff that we've got coming up in the month of November and all the things that you might have missed from the long month of October, which we've just finished up. I always like to begin by highlighting three big things. So here they are. Big thing number one, Scott Terulli and I are resuming offering a monthly classic metal class, and we've got some cool topics already lined up for this month and the coming months. Big thing number two, in October, we had the International Stoicon Conference. I gave a talk, which I'll link to below. You also see a card here for that, about objects of beauty that Stoics talk about in their works. Big thing number three in the Study with Sadler Academy, also linked to below. I am going to be rolling out some new online classes that I'm very excited about, and a lot of people have been asking for and are excited about as well. So those are the big things. Let's talk now about the month of October. October was a pretty busy month. I had 4 classes that I was teaching, still teaching all the way up to December at Marquette University and Milwaukee Institute of Art and Design, but I did a lot of events as well. We kicked off the month with my usual Ask Me Anything session, had a lot of great conversation there. I mentioned that I got to speak at the International Stoicon, and you can see that linked to below along with the AMA. And we held our Worlds of Speculative Fiction session on N.K. Jemison's wonderful Broken Earth trilogy, some really great sci-fi / fantasy novels. I also did a sort of celebratory video about the Sadler's Lectures podcast reaching the 1,000 episodes mark. That's kind of a cool milestone to hit. We also had several Wisdom for Life radio show episodes come out, which you can see the videos for as well. One of which had to do with the Half-Hour Hegel project, which I finished back earlier in the fall. And the other of which had to do with some questions that people had about Stoicism, since it's the month for Stoicon and Stoic Week is coming up this month. So a lot of cool events. I did a lot of video work as well. I got 2 book reviews done, something I've been wanting to get to for a while. Julian Baggini's The Great Guide, which is about David Hume and philosophy as a way of life. Martha Nussbaum, Anger and Forgiveness, a book that I use as a textbook, to which I gave a somewhat mixed review. I also did some videos about, narratives, Sadler's Stories videos, mostly about fall-related things. And I also did a more personal video about life lessons that I have been mulling over because I've been dealing with some health challenges as of late. Some of you may know this from my social media, that I have a gallbladder issue that's taking a while. So, thinking about getting older, things going wrong with your body, how to keep yourself from falling into depression or despair or things like that. I did a video specifically about that. I also did something that I've been wanting to do for a while, a calling out fake quotes video about Marcus Tullius Cicero, some of the most egregiously fake quotes that people bring up. I did a couple one-off videos as well about some great speculative fiction authors, one about Ursula K. Le Guin and her recent essay from 2017 about anger. And I also did a really cool video. N.K. Jemisin, a one-off video about her response to Ursula K. Le Guin called Ursula K. Le Guin did a short story, Those Who Walk Away from Omelas. N.K. Jemisin wrote a short story, Those Who Stay and Fight. So that was kind of interesting. And then, I've been editing things from an Aristotle class that I did over the summer, some bonus session footage that I've let people, check out. Those are getting some good play and comments. And then the biggest thing that I've been doing video-wise is I started a series, and I did 13 videos in the series so far of core concept videos on Immanuel Kant's Prolegomena to Any Future Metaphysics. So we've gotten through the first part of it, and we've got a lot more yet to come. So people are getting, quite happy to see those videos out. In the Sadler's Lectures podcast, interestingly enough, I've released a lot of podcast episodes, and they're all on one text, Aristotle's Categories, another big text that many people have difficulties with, and so I thought it would be useful to bring those out for students. As I mentioned, I'm still teaching my academic classes. I have a full load this semester of 4 classes, 4 different classes, 2 of which are at Marquette University, 2 of which are Milwaukee Institute of Art and Design. I've got a significant client load, doing tutorials, philosophical counseling, some consulting work. And I've been, continuing to volunteer at Almost Home Cat Shelter and to work on grant work for them as well. It's a really great cat shelter. And I'm going to put in a pitch here. If you got a couple extra bucks and you're looking for a place to make an impact, Almost Home is always going to have good uses for the money, mostly for veterinary bills. That turns out to be the biggest cost for these cat shelters because they take really good care of these abandoned, lost, fostered out cats. So that's part of what's been going on. I mentioned that I've been dealing with some health issues, but I'm trying to keep an upbeat attitude about that. Easier some days than others. So that is the month of October, which here in Milwaukee finished with a heavy snowfall on Halloween. All right, what is coming up in the month of November? We've got a lot of events packed into this month. We begin this Saturday, the 4th, at noon with the AMA. That's Ask Me Anything session. So anybody can show up, and we do a live streaming. I answer as many questions as I can get to in 90 minutes, sometimes go over a little bit. You want to get your questions in early because we never do get to all of them. It's just, impossible. There's so many of them to get to. The same day for Patreon supporters who are pledging at a certain level of support, I have a philosophy chat that's a much more in-depth and intimate Zoom conversation that you're welcome to join in on if you'd like to become a supporter of my work. On the 6th, that's a Monday through the 12th, we have International Stoic Week. This is an opportunity to learn how people, in fact, do practice Stoicism, this philosophy as a way of life. Try out some exercises. I do it every year, even though, I've been doing it for a very long time, and I teach people about that. I think it's a great opportunity to retool. And if you don't know much about Stoicism and you want to learn about it, well, then you want to check that out. On the 8th here in Milwaukee, well, actually in Mequon, in the greater Milwaukee area, we've got an in-person event. So if you're in the area and you'd like to learn more about David Hume, I will be giving a talk at 6 p.m. at the Frank Weinberg Library in the Philosophers in the Midst of History series. And we'll record it as well, so if you're not in the area, you can at least watch it later on. But if you are in the area and you want to see me speaking live, great opportunity to do so. On the 11th at noon, that's a Saturday, we will be having the next Worlds of Speculative Fiction series session, and this is going to be devoted to a big fan favorite, Terry Pratchett's Diskworld series. We're looking at 5 of his Diskworld novels, all of which have to do with the character Rincewind, who's a wizard, but not much of a wizard, but turns out to be very important to the fate of the Diskworld universe. That begins at noon. We have about roughly 90-minute to 120-minute video with live chat. We do a premiere, and then we have a Zoom session to continue the conversation for those who are interested. Then on the 18th, the next Saturday, I mentioned this as one of the 3 big things, Scott Terulli and I are going to restart Classic Metal Class, and that is a Zoom session. Scott and I will be presenting. We'll be taking questions and comments from people on the side, and what we're going to be talking about this time is essentially an ethical issue, something that was raised by Dee Snider, the frontman of Twisted Sister and many other things as well. The question is, what should bands be playing when they're up on stage? What should their set list be? What duties do they have to the fans to give deep tracks or to give the old fan favorites or whatever else it's going to be that they're going to be playing and bringing up? So that's kind of an interesting topic that we'll be exploring. Then on the next day, the 19th at actually, on the same day, the 18th at 3 p.m., we're going to shoot for doing a self-directed studies video premiere, releasing a video specifically on Immanuel Kant. And if you wanted to study him, how would you best go about doing that? So if you're interested in those, that might be helpful for you. On the 19th, that Sunday at 2 p.m., I will be doing a story time, and this is going to be a double header, 2 H.P. Lovecraft stories set in the same narrative universe, having some characters in common. First, we'll do the Cats of Ulthar, and then we'll do the Other Gods, both of which have one character in common. And then the following weekend, on the 25th, at noon, I'll be doing Understanding Anger 2.0. This is a session that we've had to put off several times due to illnesses or just general busyness. And I'm going to be talking about Aeschylus's, the great Greek tragedian's trilogy, the Oresteia, right? Which starts out with the Agamemnon and his killing by Clytemnestra and Aegisthus, and then finishes with Orestes in Athens and being pursued by the Furies and the beginning of, we could say, legal justice. And how does anger play out in all of those? So we're going to be doing that. And then finally, another in-person event on the 30th at 6 p.m. at the Women's Club of Wisconsin. I will be doing another Philosophy Eats session. This is a dinner where I give some enrichment, some remarks, some dialogue, some topics of interest to the participants. And it's a fundraiser for the Women's Club of Wisconsin. This time around, understandably enough, the theme is gratitude. What is it? Is it a virtue? Is it a set of actions? Is it a duty? How should we understand it? So that'll be a fun one. Maybe I'll do some video work about that as well. So what else is going on in November? As I mentioned, the third big thing, I'm going to be bringing out some online classes, certainly at least one that'll be focused on Platonic dialogues. And so, keep an eye out for that. I'll be releasing a video about it. I'll be posting about it in my social media. And it will be a class that you can, work at your own pace, study on your own with all the resources that I'll be providing you. I really like designing classes, so you can tell I'm excited about that. It's also, of course, this month, Thanksgiving here in America. And so I'm going to have my kids around. My youngest is coming up from Indiana. My oldest, of course, is here in town, and we'll be able to all get together. Hopefully my dad will also come up, and we'll spend some time just hanging out together, having a great meal, playing Catan, going to local museums, coffee shops, visiting the cat shelter, doing all those sorts of things that we love to do. And then, what am I going to do as far as video work? Well, all those events, will be video recorded, except for the Philosophy Eats, which maybe I'll do a video on anyway. And then I've got more core concept videos to do on Immanuel Kant's Prolegomena to Any Future Metaphysics. Probably won't finish the text in this month. It'll probably have to go into December. But I have also been shooting some videos on a different text and a different author, Alistair McIntyre, this really great essay that he has, How to Seem Virtuous Without Actually Being So, which I use in one of my ethics classes. So I decided to record a set of videos on that. I've also been kicking around the idea of doing some speculative fiction studies videos, specifically on Jorge Luis Borges, some of the stories that I love by him, in particular, The Lottery at Babylon, The Library of Babel, The Garden of Forking Paths, and we'll see what else I'm actually up for. I'll probably do some Sadler's Stories videos because, I've got lots of stories to tell. And I'll, do some other personal videos perhaps. And I'll try to do at least one fake quotes video this month. And I've got some momentum going with book reviews. I want to start doing more of these book reviews because I've got lots of books people have sent me kind of piled up and needing to be reviewed. I'm also going to be doing some Ideas That Matter interviews this month. I didn't get to do any last month, but this coming month, I've got a lot of great guests that I want to bring in and talk with about various matters that I think could be quite interesting. Podcast, we're finishing up with Aristotle's categories. So, by the time that we're done, we'll have about 33 podcast episodes on that work. I've also got some for my business ethics class on Robert Audi's really excellent article, The Ethical Significance of Cost-Benefit Analysis. So I've got a series that I've already released to my Patreon supporters that I will be releasing to the public. And then I've got to do some on Virginia Held and Rosemary Tong's conception of care ethics for some of my other ethics classes. I need some podcast episodes on the topics from my old videos on that. And then I think what I'll probably end up doing for the next sequence of podcast episodes, probably won't finish it by the end of the month, is Ursula K. Le Guin's second Earthsea novel, The Tombs of Atuan. Really awesome, short, it's really more of a novella than a novel, but a really great Earthsea story. So that is what we've got coming up in November. You can tell quite ambitious. There's a lot going on. We'll see how much I can actually get done. A lot of it depends on me remaining at least as healthy as I feel today, which you never know how things are going to turn out. So that is everything that I have to put in front of you. I know it's quite a lot. You can find links to all these things below in the video description. And I hope that I see some of you at these online events. If you're here in the Milwaukee area and you want to, check out these other in-person events, I'd be happy to see you there. If you do show up, make sure to introduce yourself. And I hope that you have a great month ahead.